Everyone. Today, what I'm going to be talking about is a tech tool that I have chosen for this presentation, and it's called Desmos Graphing Calculator. So, let's check it out. We're going to be talking about the pros and the cons and a little bit basic about how it works. Okay, now let's talk about the pros first. As you can see, I got 3 mobile devices here. Cell phone, a laptop, and a tablet. First pro, Desmos is free. It's free for everyone. You can literally just go online if you have a laptop. Very easy, just go to desmos.com and you're able to get access. You can start graphing right away. Now, if you have a cell phone, it's also available for download. It's also available for 2 interface. First is the Apple iPhone. Any iPhone, iPod, iPad product, as long as they have the interface of iOS 7.0 or above, you can definitely download that. And also, if you have a Android phone, this is as long as it has a 4.0 version or above, the Desmos will work magnificently. Now, a tablet is likewise work on here too. So that's the good thing, is it's all, integrated with all the mobile devices. Now, let's go a little bit more on the pros part. It is very easy to use. I would like to show on all 3 apps. I mean all 3 devices, but I think the one that you can clearly see are pretty much, the laptop. Now, the only thing with the laptop is you can only use them when you're online. There's no way you can use them without it, because you can't really download them through a laptop. However, for a tablet, the moment you have the apps, you can definitely use them offline. So that will be a way to go there. Okay, so let's get started a little bit on how easy it can be used. Now, what I'm planning to do with this tech tool is pretty much integrated into my continuation high school setting. So I would like them to use these as a way to check their answer. So when they do their own graph, oftentimes they're having a difficult time of, am I doing it right? Or what else do I have to do? And a lot of times they don't really get to manipulate with the graph. So Desmos will be a great way for them to check the answer. And also to kind of like network, you can definitely use Desmos to share work and to show what you've done. Okay, so let's kind of talk about the tasks just a little bit. So for example, the unit that I'm going to be doing right now is very much called system of equations. So as we all know, system of equations can be 2 or more. We're just going to start with the basic one, which is, the 2 equation. Now, this is called the slider. So what I'm going to do is just input the slider on there. So now I can do y equal to, let's start with something simple. So x minus 5. And there we go, my graph. So right there. Now, system of equation require 2 equations. So therefore, I'm going to enter another one. But this time, I'm not going to put in the format of slope-intercept form. I'm going to use the standard form this time. So it'll be 2x. You can type it too. There we go. 2x minus 3y. And I want them to put them equal to 10. There we go. Now, as you can see, the graph show right away. The neat part about this is when it comes to system of equation, you want to solve by graphing, but oftentimes it's inaccurate. With Desmos apps, you can definitely check out the point of intersection. As you could clearly see, this is one of the points where they intersect. So it shows right away. And there's much more than that. Now, Desmos, the cool part about this is they also come with bunch of already example that already set it up for you. So the student can kind of like, if they don't know what slope intercept form is, then they can just go ahead and check out the example, and then it'll load. The slope intercept form is y equal to mx plus b, which is the one that I type in into my slider, the first one, and then this is the standard form. And now this one's a little bit different because it says parabolas. Okay, not sure if they have the standard form for the line. I don't think they do here. So now they have point slope form, and it can go from pre-algebra all the way to calculus. As you can see, it has a cone section, parabolas. So this is a very useful because it comes with the equation already. So that's the very neat part about it. And Desmos is very easy to use compared to, now we're gonna go to the tablet portion right here. Now, compared to its competitor that I know I grew up with, which is the TI calculator or the Texas Instrument. So this is the app that they have. Oops, sorry. There we go. Now, this one is way more complicated. I mean, if you don't know how to use TI, you're gonna having a hard time of how do I plot and all these things. So this is for, more of like people that already know how it works, and then it only come with these format. So you gotta do it like this, and then you'll be able to graph. But it's a little bit more complicated, I would say. And then if you want to plot them, you gotta really go second, start plot, and you see stat plots and all these stuff. I already messed up on that, and I'm not doing it intentionally. Now if I want to do graph, I go right there, and as you can see, it's black and white, so it's not very how would you call it, draw students much of an attention to compare to the Desmos app here. So that's pretty much the pros part, and now we're gonna get to the cons. So here comes some of the cons that I have found. First thing, the Desmos apps is definitely amazing. The way it integrated is very easy to use. On top of that, a little bit about back to the pros is that they also build a network. You can actually do tweet if you have any questions at Desmos, and they will gladly help you out with anything you have, and you can also go to tutorial. However, the tutorial doesn't really help you much. What I'm trying to say is, yes, I can input equation and I can see the graph clearly, but there's no concept behind it of where these come from and how to graph it. It doesn't really teach you how to graph. So that's the part where, teacher like myself, we have to make sure that we are familiar with the program first, so that we can kind of teach the students beforehand on how to graph. Don't just having them input these, because it doesn't mean anything. All they do is just gonna copy the graph, find the intersection, and be done with it without really knowing why or where it come from. So that's still up to the teacher to do the job for that. As you can see, this is some of the example, but doesn't really give you any steps. So that's the part where it needs to be improved, and I think that it will be better if there's like a tutorial video where it actually show you how to graph and everything, and the concept behind it, and that I will give that an A++ if they can come up with that. So that's one thing that I see the cons. Also, now it allows you to share. You can sign in or create an account, share your graph and everything, but these will also kind of like double sorts, because one thing is this: what happens if you allow the student to be using this tool on their test, there's a high chance that they can share their answer. So that's one thing that we have to look at in that perspective of sharing. I mean, how much information are we going to allow the student to share? And this is something that I see that as a teacher, we have to make sure that before we even put this in there, teacher like myself, we need to be familiar with it first. So, but beside that, these Desmos apps is definitely worth to have for every student. I think is really neat. It gives you this vivid image of the graph, and you can really play around with it a lot. And it's also give you a table of value as well. So you can do a lot with it. So it's not just like the TI, you know, where you really have to know what you're doing. But with this one, it gives you more than just more than just the graph. So you can do much more than that. And that's pretty much the conclusion of the pros and cons of the Desmos digital graphing calculator. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching. Goodbye.